Hello footies, and thank you for joining us once again for FUT in Review, where we've been bringing you leading analysis and opinion on all things FIFA and EAFC since 2019. Today's show is proudly brought to you by futcoaching.com, your number one place for you to get better at FC24. Also, if you want to help support this show directly, please consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/FUT in Review. You get a range of benefits, including exclusive merchandise, coaching discounts, and much, much more, including ad-free access to this show, which means you won't be hearing this very advertisement. However, we realise that times are tough. So simply leaving us a 5-star review wherever you listen to us would be greatly appreciated, as it helps the show grow. We'd also like to thank our Skybox holder, Peter, for his exceptional support. Now, let's get to today's show. Hello footies, welcome along to your latest dose of EAFC Ultimate Team podcasting goodness. We are FUT in Review, powered by futcoaching.com. My name is Dan Wimbush. I'm reunited with my main man, Shaq Attack. It is Tuesday, the 5th of March as we record this, although you're probably going to be hearing this on the 6th due to some editing issues our end. However, we'll do our best to bring you up to date with the content as we have it so far. Lots to get into. We had a FUT Fantasy mini release. We've had a very interesting set of SBCs released as well. Of course, we've got a massive menu grind on the table if you want it as well. And we've got our talking points. Are friendlies actually too good? Are they killing off rivals? And are EA actually giving back to the community? Are they trying to make a bit of a course correction, or is this just another step in the road that they've had in plan all along? So, plenty to get into, Shaq, my friend. But you've been away. How are you? How was your trip?
I'm doing well, thank you very much, Dan. Really missed kicking the ball around with you on a Tuesday, but looking forward to today. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about this game that I've barely touched in the past 2 weeks, which has given me a new, refreshed insight into the game. So I've seen a lot of people talking about the game online, so I can't wait to talk about the game myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I did the show on Tuesday last week with Adam Adama, and before that with John talking FUT as well. And I think some of the feedback I got was, you could tell, Dan, how, a little bit disenfranchised, disenchanted you are with the game. And I sat there and thought, was I really? And I listened back to the show, and I guess I am a bit, and a bit like you. I've not touched the game as much, but I've still been engaging. I've still been engaging with the menu content. I ran through Weekend League. I played a couple of squad battles to finish off some Evo. So I'm still playing the game, but I actually think that I'm in a much better state with the game mentally than I probably was a couple of weeks ago or coming off Team of the Year. I think it's been actually you've had a forced chance to reset being away from your console, and for me, being a little bit disenchanted with being stuck in a high division in Rivals has actually allowed me to step back and reset as well.
Perfect. That's probably a good thing for us.
Yeah, and I think if you go back and listen to the specials I did with Aaron over Christmas sort of time, talking about dopamine and chasing that hit and the diminishing returns of it, I think that's the kind of state, without getting too deep and psychological, in the first 5 minutes of this show where we talk about a video game. I think that I was getting into the stage of, especially over Team of the Year, and I probably look back, and I think a lot of us will look back over Team of the Year and how hard we were hitting it and how hard we were grinding it for diminishing returns. I think it has been good to sort of be able to take a step back and actually look at the menu content, and with all the discussions we've had about power curve and things like that, to actually sit there and go, if I don't play hard this week, if I don't get my 8 wins in Rivals, 7 wins in Rivals, if I don't do X, Y, or Z, I ain't going to miss much.
Exactly. I mean, I kept mentioning this to you while I was away, that being away from the console for almost 3 weeks, two and a half weeks, I couldn't think of a single actual upgrade to my team. So I wasn't really missing on anything, because the cards that were in packs were really expensive, that the only way you could actually afford them was to actually pack them. And none of the SBCs were really like, oh my God, hold all my coins. I want to go get this SBC done, because realistically, the teams that we all had 3-4 weeks ago were still serviceable. I think will be serviceable for the next couple of weeks as well. So it's good and a bad thing, because I think some of us are bored of our teams, and there's no real clear upgrade path unless you really pack something or you grind. And I think, like you said, after Team of the Year, none of us really want to grind as hard anymore. Well, some of us don't really want to grind as hard anymore. So it's just one of those. It's I wouldn't say it's a lull, but I think it's a good lull for us, for people like us that just grinded our way to glory before.
Yeah, I mean, EA have backed themselves into a little bit of a corner, haven't they, really? Because they released a big set of SBCs at price points that people could realistically grind to without too much difficulty. The likes of Davies, Fernandez, Zico, Maldini, Eusebio. And they were kind of players that were in reach. Yeah, they were going to be hard to get, but they were in reach. But now, to get that next tier of player, as we've just seen with Ginola, who was released on Friday, you're talking suddenly in the 3 million level of fodder. And most people just don't have that. And even with the menu grind being as plentiful as it is now, I can't ever remember a time outside of maybe footies type time where there have been so many ways to get fodder cards, so many ways to grind and try and hit players. But it's at the stage, and we were just talking just briefly before we came on air, weren't we, about Ginola? And it's just to the point where I'm just like, nah, too much. Pass.
I think one of the things, look, the price of Ginola doesn't really bother me. It's fine. It is what it is. But one of the things that really struck out to me as soon as I saw Ginola was the fact that there was 290 rated squads and 389 rated squads. And whatever all said and done, I don't think those squads can be organically done without buying cards off the market or opening one of those store packs that actually provides you with fodder. No one's going to have 16 to 20 91 rated cards in your club or 90 rated cards in your club if you don't pack that many 90 rated cards in a consistent manner to complete those SBCs, which means you either have to use coins, which is not a big deal, or you just go ahead and just open a pack and hope for the best. And had they had more 88 rated squads and maybe two 89 rated squads and maybe a couple more 88 and 87 rated squads, it would be worth a gamble, at least for me. I just looked at the squad ratings and thought, nah, this is just too complicated and too hard. Sure, I can get it, but do I really want to grind that much? Not really.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But look, let's move on to the content we have had since the guys did the show on Friday. Again, Steve, John, and Ingvi, great show up on Friday night. Really enjoyed that. Great to see Steve back on the show as well. Go check it out if you haven't already. But since that point, we have had a mini release, Shaq, at 3 players coming in at Orban, Porro and Gundogan. And out of the 3, the only one that is basically above discard price is Gundogan, who has already dropped heavily because Barcelona drew the first game of his eligibility 0-0, meaning they've now got to score 11 goals in 3 games for him to get his full suite of upgrades. So he has dropped down to around about 260k. It's a card I actually really like the look of, Shaq. I think I've been looking for a way to pivot away from Wood Hullet for a little bit just to freshen up the team. And I really like what I see with this Gundogan.
He's got some really good play styles. I don't think I've seen another card that's got finesse, shot, and anticipate plus play styles. And he's well-rounded stats. He's always had a unique set of skills within the game. And I think this card's really well-rounded. And I think he's got a bit of everything. And you've always, I must remember, even last year there was a SBC that you really did for Gundogan that not many people did, and you really enjoyed using him. So this is a card that you really enjoy using in game, and he's pretty good value, to be perfectly honest with you. If he gets to score 1 assist or even 1, not sure if he would score a goal, but if he assists a goal, I think that you're looking at a really good upgrade.
Yeah, I think if you're playing, as most people seem to be, that 4-3-2-1, he is that perfect player to play in one of those 3 midfield slots, especially, either side of an outright holding DM. I don't think he could do that role with his high medium work rates, but his defending is very, very serviceable. 83 in interceptions, like you say, he's got intercept plus. Defensive awareness 86, standing tackle 83. So he can easily do a job on win you that ball back, and he's got that ability to go forward with 88 finishing, 85 shot power, even 90 attack positioning, and it's nice because I think this card really reflects Gundogan. If I think about Gundogan playing for Man City, he was that player that would pop up in the box and score crucial goals. Those goals against Villa to win them the league spring to mind immediately.
Yep. Yes.
Great range of passing, 92 vision, 94 short passing, 90 long passing, and 92 curve. Again, I think for a card that's dropped 250,000 coins, no brainer for me. I'm going to pick it up and see what it does. And again, it should, even though Barcelona probably won't get the full suite of upgrades, I could easily see this card still becoming a 91 or even a 90. I still think it's going to be very usable through till Tots, or he gets his annual overpriced SBC, as you mentioned.
Exactly. That's still yet to come.
and it will, don't you worry, because if EA have shown us anything, it's that they love reusing the same cards, which brings us nicely to some of the SBCs that have come out. Before we move on to Ander Herrera, who's got his annual card, just anything to say about Orban or Porro?
I think Porro is probably it could be an interesting investment. I think he's injured, which is reflected in his price. But there is rumors of him playing against Villa. So if he does, and if he happens to get a assist or any of those things, it might be a really good investment. But again, he's a right back, Premier League. He's got the whip pass, play style plus. I think he's fairly cheap for what he is, but you really have to hope that he's back from injury. If he's back from injury, then it's worth an investment. But otherwise, yeah, I think Orban, decent card, not really. I haven't even checked how his team is doing. So yeah, I know very little about him.
Yeah, they need one more win to get the wins upgrade. Still needs a clean sheet. He did make an appearance, and the club Leipzig scored 4 goals. So he's actually looking quite good at the moment to be at least a 90 rated card. And again, good work rates on that. I love the low high. He's got anticipate, playstyle plus. He's also got intercept, power header, slide tackle, aerial, jockey, long ball. So again, this might be another card that you stash away. And I think to sort of go into a bit of trading advice, and we will be back with the trading show in the next week. Don't you worry, we're back. We'll be back. But again, you look at a card like this, and you could easily see it being a 90 rated. And even if just on a fodder basis, you pick it up at 32,000 coins at the moment, stash it away. You can't do wrong, and even if you've got no intention of using it. So, but moving on even to Ander Herrera, who always gets some sort of a special card for no real reason, even though he doesn't do anything. He's been given an SBC, 140,000 coins, Shaq. But again, the big caveat with this card is he's actually carrying a foot injury at the moment.
Exactly. That's the disappointing thing. I think a lot of people have been yelling at EA talking about, they're just putting injured players. But I think these things are decided well in advance, and the injuries are probably out of their control, and they really can't pivot in the last minute or change the requirements or change something about how the cards get upgraded. So you can't it's not on EA for the injuries, but it's unfortunate. As a customer base, it's unfortunate for us. He's a decent card. I like him if you have a past and present Man United. He was one of those players that always fought for the badge for Man United. And even though he didn't really have a great time there, got good memories of him there. And I think Tiki Taka is very, very, very fitting for what he actually provided on the pitch. So he's a decent card. If you have the fodder, I mean, we all have additional fodder these days, and it's probably worth a go. But with the injury, that really just dulls that excitement a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Bilbao doing well in La Liga this year. They just held Barcelona to a 0-0 draw before this card was released, so that won't factor in to this card. So they've still got 4 games to go, although one of them is against Real Madrid. So getting 11 goals, probably not going to happen. As mentioned, the injury means you might not get the other upgrade. So you're probably looking at maybe just a +1. And if this card does just get +1, Shaq, I think you're right. It just blends into so many other midfielders.
Exactly. I mean, there's hardly anything that's out of the box special with him, apart from the fact that he's got 2 playstyle pluses, and I think Tiki Taka is a really good playstyle plus for the midfielder. But apart from that, there's not really anything that's super special without an upgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
I think upgrade rather.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of any number of the Pedri cards that you can go out and pick up, or even someone like a Kevin De Bruyne. One of even his goal card, I don't think it's a million miles away in terms of stats values. In fact, yeah, there's only about 30 face stats difference. Obviously, it's a bit of a big pace drop, but yeah, I think there's a lot better you can do, unless you hope that his foot magically heals and you're back in Bilbao to go goal crazy, in which case, by all means, go and pick it up. And as Shaq just said, there are so many ways to get fodder right now. But the 3 other SBCs we've got to talk about, I think all of which are probably more appealing. We'll start with the big one that people are really looking forward to. Rolfo from Barcelona. She has been given a FUT Fantasy SBC card as well. This one coming in just under 600,000 coins. Shaq, a very eagerly anticipated card. Trickster Plus, if you can all remember that one weekend league where Rolfo was running riot. I still have nightmares. And she's been given Pinged Pass Plus as well to go along with it. And the big thing that a lot of people really like is that they've also given it a CM alternative position as well, Shaq.
Exactly, and this is a card that we've all been eagerly waiting for from the start of the game. I don't know if you remember, but she was the first Hullet gang female player. And if you remember the first couple of days of EAFC, do you remember the price rise on Rolfo? She went all the way from like almost fodder price to like 90k, and there was a lot of hype on Rolfo. So I think we all have Rolfo memories. And seeing the SVC come out, I think a lot of us just rushed and started doing the SVC without even considering how good she might be in game. But she's fabulous in game, I think, because looking at the stats, she's got everything that you need, and she's got the pink pass, which is probably very unique for midfielders as well. So the price is slightly high, but there's potential to upgrade. And I was reading a stat that Barcelona has only conceded 4 goals this season. So there's a really good chance that she gets all 4 upgrades. So she turns out to be a 93 rated card, which is fabulous for the price. So it's definitely worth collecting. It's definitely worth doing the SVC. Who knows how good she might actually end up being, because even the gold card is still serviceable as a substitute right now. So this one will be really good in game.
Yeah, Barcelona have dropped 2 points from 18 games so far this season. That was actually only the other week against Levante. But yeah, their goal difference is plus 71 from 18 games. So I think that this card is almost certain to get all of its upgrades. And like you say, that will then take it to a 93 rated card. The one thing to remember, though, is that the fixtures are actually quite spread out for Barcelona. They're not actually going to finish their 4 games until the 31st of March. So you could be waiting a long time. However, given that it's Barcelona and their goal-scoring ways, this card could actually get its upgrade within 2 games, because you could quite easily see Barcelona sticking 6 past one team and 5 past another, getting a clean sheet and getting those 2 wins. So she could get that upgrade as soon as the 17th of March, which is less than 2 weeks away. So to think that you could have a 90 rated Rolfo in 2 weeks' time, it's an absolute no-brainer to complete for me. But where would you be looking to play this card, Shaq? Would you be playing it in the midfield with those high work rates, or would you try and play her at left back?
I think for me personally, I don't think I'd start her as left back, because I'm just used to the whipped cross from my left back. So I always had Bacha and also have Davies as my left back. So I don't really see her fitting into that position. I really think she's going to play as a super sub for me. Either come in on the left back just to shore up the defense and just do some trickery bits from left back, or in centre midfield. I think that's perfect to have the pink pass, as I said. In centre midfield, I think it would be ideal to have her. And the jury's a bit out, because I think I was looking at Inception's video and he suggested that she's best at left back. And I was reading a couple of people on Twitter, including our very own FC Bridges from the NBFD podcast, and he mentioned that she was amazing in midfield. So I think it's just a bit of, she's one of those things that she's Swiss Army knife. She can just fit wherever you want her to play. And I think she'd be a fabulous super sub, a really fabulous super sub, because I remember the gold card could also play as a winger, as a defensive winger, and she was fabulous there as well. So I'm really excited to try Rolfo. Only trouble is I just need to get the excitement to use her in Rivals or Champs, which I don't have the energy for yet.
Yeah, 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills, just a fabulous player. I will be trying her at left back to start with. I think Batcher just about reaching the end of her journey in my team after 3 or 4 months of service. So I think I'll be trying that, but yeah, I will miss that whip pass plus if I do. So it's a bit of a tricky one. 2 other SBCs to quickly get to. Let's move on to Smolarek, who has been given, he's a hero. He's been given FUT Fantasy Hero SBC. This card got a bit of a popularity. I remember his World Cup card last year, Shaq, was a real sleeper hit. So a lot of people have fond memories of this card. And this one looks equally good as well, I think, for somebody looking to maybe that hasn't got the resources to go out and have done a Eusebio or Mbappe. I think if you're on that kind of next tier down, I think you're looking at the likes of Smolarek and Werner. And I think this card could easily hold your own in a team, even in a pretty high level.
Oh, I absolutely love a Smolarek card. The World Cup card last year stayed in my team as a left cam in the 4-2-2 for a very, very, very long time. He was incredible with his. I think the cool things that he had last year was with the dead eye. He had 99 short passing and long passing, and it was just beautiful. The card was amazing. This particular card, I think he will just fit. The only trouble is I have too many people in my team, and I don't really know where he's going to fit. Secondly, I think just with the links as well, he's an Eredivisie player and he's Polish as well. So it's just one of those things where he's not going to add too much to the team. And I don't really know. Well, he does play for Feyenoord. Well, he's connected to Feyenoord, isn't he?
Yes.
So yeah, they're not a good team, are they?
Oh, and that's the last you ever heard of Shaq on Foot in Review.
I'm only joking, John. I'm only joking. Well,
The podcast goes
look,
to static at this point.
it's one of those things where I think I will get this SPC done just for memory's sake, and it'll just be a collector's item for me. It's got really good play styles pluses as well. I mean, I personally would have preferred finishing a shooting play style, but press proven is decent for him. I can just trying to picture how it will actually work with him, but he would be perfect in the left cam role. He'd be perfect as a striker. He would work there definitely. Yeah, so he's a fun card, definitely a fun card.
Yeah, very serviceable. As I said, if you are in that kind of mid-tier market where you've been a bit more casual, I said you've not, and you don't really fancy the big grinds of trying to get one of those top-end strikers, I think I said this card will absolutely hold its own. It's good in all the right place. All the shooting stats are where you need them to be. 4-star, work rates, high, medium. Maybe you would have liked him to have a shooting play style plus instead of press proven and rapid. But again, I think as Shaq said, kind of playing out maybe on the left-hand side of a front three. It'll be a good position for him. And again, for 350,000 coins, can't complain too much on that front. And the final one, the most expensive actually out of the SBCs that have been released in the last few days, Ricardo Carvalho, who came with a little bit of controversy, Shaq. A lot of people were pointing out to his reactions being a little bit lower. However, EA quickly tweeting out that he was released with the wrong composure. Was it composure and reactions?
That's right.
Yeah. They have been adjusted. His price is not. Is there around about 700,000 coins to complete. Linked to Chelsea in the Premier League. He's got Aerial Plus and Anticipate Plus play styles. A really good card, Shaq. But I think, again, for me, and I think we had this conversation when we were talking about Alphonso Davies. It's just one of those cards where I think if you've done the likes of Paolo Maldini, in my case, I've got Saliba. He's just on a par with those. I don't think he provides that massive upgrade, but maybe if you've missed out on those kind of cards, again, this card would be for you.
Exactly. I think a lot of people have mentioned, even within our Discord, that Saliba, he could be an improvement to Saliba. But personally, I think if you remember last year, the World Cup Ricardo Carvalho card as well was a very, very good sleeper card. Like a lot of people who actually liked him, really liked him. So he's a good card in game. He's very unique in the sense that he doesn't appear to be strong, but he's fairly strong. He doesn't appear to be agile with the stats, but he's actually agile. He doesn't appear to be good passing, but he actually passes really well. If he's complementing, like, say, Virgil van Dijk or those kind of a bulky defender, he'd be ideal. But if he's complementing a Maldini, I would not use Ricky Carvalho. I would rather choose Saliba or Van Dijk to partner Maldini. So it depends on what you really want to do. If you're bored with your current setup, you could consider doing him. But just because he's linked with Chelsea as well, I'm really apprehensive on the upgrades as well. So it's one of those things where if you have a connection with the card, sure. Otherwise, nah.
Yeah, we were looking at Chelsea's next fixtures. Of course, they drew the first game of his eligibility 2-2 with Brentford. So they've got 2 towards the 11 goals. But the next 3 games, they are all at home, which is good. But they're at home to Newcastle, Burnley and Manchester United. Now, Burnley, you would fancy them to get a fair few goals and a big win. But Newcastle and Manchester United, who knows what version of those two teams ever turn up. But I don't think I would be sceptical about him getting, especially with Chelsea's form in general. You can't guarantee any upgrades, yet alone 2.
Exactly. And that's what concerns me. If you could guarantee some upgrades, it would be worth to put a gamble on this card at least, to have a gamble and see what happens. But no, it's just not worth the fodder for me.
Yeah, very much agree. And that just about rounds up the content. Of course, again, lots to get through on the menus right now. You've got all of the upgrade SBCs you could shake a stick at. With Team of the Week picks, an 82 plus upgrade, an 81 plus player pick. We've had the 84 times 5 out, the 85 plus pick. So loads of ways for you to, if you're going for top end cards to complete these big SBCs, you've got ways of doing that. If you're looking to flood the club with basic gold cards to do player picks and go for the big guns, you've got that as well. So lots of different ways to be getting on with it. I was enjoying the 80 plus player pick grind, Shaq. And that was basically an infinite grind with the exchanges. With the addition of the 81 plus, it does make that little bit harder because now instead of 6 players, it's 8. So it just kind of drains through those resources that little bit quicker. But I still think it's, considering you can buy an 89 rated Rodri for 30k and that provides you with 51 gold players. So that will then get you, 5, 6, can't do maths off the top of my head at this time of the morning, 6 player picks. It's still easily doable to have a good few sessions for a couple of 100,000 coins.
Definitely. I think it's good fun to try and get something out of the way, but yeah, it's one of those things where if you're prepared to spend some time and just hope for, and having a card that you're grinding towards, it's probably good fun. But if you're just hoping for a big card to just come out of these picks, it's not really, it's one of those things where it's like a fruitless exercise, especially considering what we've done for Team of the Year. So if you're trying to grind towards Ginola, you're trying to grind towards Smolarek, or you're trying to finish Rolfo, it's definitely worth the gamble. I think Invi from the Discord's completed both Ginola and Rolfo just by doing these upgrades. So it's definitely possible, and it's very quick as well, but it's just a lot of grind, that's all.
Absolute wild man that he is, the King of the North.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
King of the grind. That is a major GG's. He has said he's absolutely gutted his club. But now he's added Ginola to the Yaya Toure he pulled on Friday. His moaning about pack luck privileges have been revoked. People, you'll be pleased to know. I've used my executive power to hand down a 3-month ban. So if you hear Ingvi on this show mention his pack luck for the next 3 months, please report him to your FUT in review authorities, and the appropriate action will be taken. And speaking of appropriate action, we've got lots to get into in the second half of the show. We're going to be talking about the impact of friendlies and what it's having on the overall gameplay. We're going to be talking a little bit about evolutions again, and also going to be looking at, have EA recognised they've been making some mistakes, and are they course correcting, or is this kind of just much of a muchness? All that to come after this short break.
Are you tired of losing versus true ball and cutback merchants? Sick of playing the same meta formation? Do you have to replace your controller every 2 promos because the game tilts you? Look no further to help. Check out futcoaching.com for one-to-one coaching. Use your professional data-driven analysis tools from NAC Sports as used by professional football clubs like Liverpool, the FA itself, Atletico Madrid, and many, many other teams. Become the meta and unlock your potential. So check out futcoaching.com for our options, or reach out on our socials. And if you are supporting the FUT in Review podcast by being a patron through patreon.com/FUT in Review, you get some amazing extra discounts on every single booking. So footcoaching.com for direct bookings, or patreon.com/FUT in Review for those extra discounts. Oh, and of course, obviously, as promised, if you book a session in the month of March, we'll donate it all to the Macmillan Cancer Support Foundation, because if EA is not giving back, we certainly will.
Right, welcome back. I hope everybody enjoyed that little break, unless of course you're a member of our Patreon, in which case you don't get that break, because it's one of the perks of signing up for patreon.com/FUT in review. At any tier, you get an ad-free version of the show, so you don't hear the ad at the top of the show, you don't hear the ad in the middle of the show. You also get the amazing feeling that you're actually really helping us. We've opened up the Discord for free. We provide you 2 shows a week, and we absolutely appreciate that times are tough and that there's not a lot of free money floating around. But for the price of a cup of coffee, you can actually actively help support this show, and it means an absolute massive amount to us, that you've actually gone that extra mile to show your gratitude. So thank you massively to all of our patrons who continue to do so, and hopefully we'll have a few more of you in the coming weeks and months. But Shaq, let's move on. I know you wanted to talk about the impact of this friendly mode, this FC Fantasy Cup, and how it's impacting the other game modes.
Oh, look, for me personally, I've just come back from a 2.5-3 week hiatus of this game, and my first reaction was, everyone's been talking about these friendly modes having good rewards, so I started playing the friendlies. And one of the things that really, as I've alluded to in the start of the show, was the fact that my team hasn't really changed in 3 weeks. So I wasn't really keen to try out the same old players. I mean, I've done the Pina SPC that I've barely used. I don't think I've even used her. But the main squad, I haven't really had any changes. So there's no need for me to go back there. And I don't really want to go through the grind of rivals and champs right now. And the friendlies opened up something that probably was missing in EA FC for me, was the fact that you back all these cool looking cards, future star cards, that you don't really use them because they're not good enough for your first team and you don't know what else to do with them. And they've really implemented a good game mode. That's the key thing I found was there's no limit. You don't have to play 4 games a day. You don't have to play 6 games a day. It's unlimited. You can play how many other games you want to play and just keep rinsing and repeating. If you complete I think even if you complete the objectives, you can go back and redo it again. So It just goes on and on and on. And I think it's really, for me, that's probably the one thing that's kept me playing the game. Because if that wasn't there, I probably would have just been a full-on casual where I just play one game every now and then. That's it. Because I think after Team of the Year, I feel a little bit burnt out. Even though I've had a break, I thought I'll come back refreshed. And I was keeping up with the news and everything. But there's something missing somewhere. I think EA has messed up with the power curve that we've discussed multiple times, but it's just something's missing. Or maybe it's just us that we've just done this far too many times the exact same way that it just feels, everything feels the same. So friendlies for me, really good addition, really enjoying just playing casually. In fact, I can play with the kids around. I don't have to concentrate as hard. I think I'm sick of concentrating really hard and play rivals and champs and trying to grind every single victory, or even playing friendlies with a time limit of having 4 games. You really have to win those 4 games because you only have 6 days to get all those 20 wins or whatever. So it's just let me breathe and just enjoy the game for what it is. And I think if they remove this, you might find a lot of people like me that would just say, you know what, enough's enough, and just take a break for a while, because it's been the same old boring game all year and every year for the past couple of years, for me at least.
Yeah, I think, you're touching on a lot of stuff that we've talked about on multiple shows, not just myself, but on the shows that John's been hosting as well. Lots of people just, we and content creators as well, talking about the game modes are just so static. Even if you were somebody that used to grind really hard for rewards, they're rubbish. Someone, on the guys are talking about on the FUT Casual podcast a few weeks ago, I think Chrissy Bullard was saying, the rewards I get that he gets from getting rank 1 in FUT Champs are rubbish compared to the latest store pack that's released, or even some of the packs they're giving away in this cup mode. So that, in a way, it's been a really good thing, as I talked about on the top of the show, because the FOMO's gone, Shaq. It's not like I'm sat thinking, oh God, the only way I'm ever going to get my hands on Yaya Toure is if I sweat my balls off for 14 wins in Weekend League, because it doesn't matter, because the rewards you get from Weekend League are terrible. They've even got rid of the Team of the Week pack, so financially you don't even tend to make that much money from it. And that's for that campaign pack. Absolute worst thing they've ever done in this game. It is beyond awful. The amount of garbage players. Who did I get? Ziyech this week. I think I got Braut Haaland or something like that the week before. Just, terrible. But it's good, because it means that I'm not thinking I have to play this mode now to upgrade my team, because the path to those great players is borderline terrible anyway. And yeah, the rewards they give you from those packs are nonsense.
Exactly. I think the rewards, as you said, the friendly rewards are way better. Why would you spend? And I know we don't really consider Weekend League as pressure, but just think about trying to get those games done, those wins done within the pressure of 3 or 4 days during the weekend, while you have you and me have family. So they're the kind of things that we have to do along with playing the game. I think when I came back from my hiatus, I said, I don't really want to go through that grind again, just for the sake of going through the grind, because that's the way to do it. And FOMO is gone, like you said, and it's a huge thing lifted off our heads. And maybe, look, I think maybe EA wants us to feel this way. All power to them. They really want us to probably try and cast away into the sunset and become casuals, because they're sick and tired of us bitching and moaning on this game. So that could be it too.
I mean, we are the kind of dedicated player that they don't like, because let's face it, if we can make our own coins and have access to the best players without going through the store, they don't really like us. They like the person that is like, oh, I'll chuck 40 quid on. Oh, a 3 icon pack. I'll put £30 worth of FIFA points on to get that. They're the kind of players they want, because they make them more money. Now, at the same time, I do think EA need to keep a certain amount of goodwill amongst its hardcore base, because I can't remember which streamer was talking about this, but they were talking about EA don't want the game to become uncool. And if lots of top-end streamers like Nick, Inception, Orzio, and all of that lot, the ones that get the big viewers, if their opinion on the game really starts to sour, and their audience will pick up on those vibes and suddenly be like, well, they're not having fun. Am I actually having fun? And with so many other games, I was talking about last week about Helldivers, which I'm absolutely loving to play. EA have got to play that delicate game of, yes, create a game that is going to extract the most amount of money from the whales out there, I think I said this to you. I love this term, whales.
Yeah.
It relates to the people that literally go so above and beyond on spending on the game that they just dwarf other people. We're talking about the people that are spending not just hundreds but thousands of pounds on store packs. And we've said this before. If you've got one person spending $2,000 on store packs, that's like 30, 40 me and Shaqs. So who are EA going to cater towards? But I do think, Shaq, on the positive side, I do think EA we talk about the benefit the friendlies have brought to you. And I do think when I look at that menu content right now and basically having an unlimited grind of getting players, I do think they are course correcting a little bit. I do think in years past, I don't think we would have seen EA bring stuff back like the exchange and the player picks constantly. I think they, especially during a promo with players as good as this, I think we would have seen them, the player pick that refreshed yesterday probably would have just gone away for 3 or 4 days. So it has been nice that they are now recognizing, okay, we'll just give them player picks throughout the week, not just for 3 or 4 days a week. So I think they are doing that. Whether that is a response to people dropping off this game and they're realizing they're losing that engagement factor, I don't know. But whether it's a happy accident or a deliberate strategy, I do appreciate it. And like you said with friendlies, I think this menu grind is what's probably just about keeping me engaged and looking at my phone, doing the odd player pick.
Can I just say one thing as well? One of the things that I've noticed, especially in the past, since Team of the Year, is if you remember, whenever we had these player picks or we had the upgrade packs, anything to do with any sort of upgrade, any sort of player pick, they would stop on Friday, 6 p.m. None of that stuff would exist, and it would just go back to normal for 2 days while we just ponder and look at these beautiful new cards and wonder how to get them. Now, they just keep them going because they know there's no other way for us to access these cards.
And that's what I just said. It's been great for them to just say, right, okay, we're not going to do as we've always done it. We will give you them throughout the weekend. We'll give you them so that you can grind them on the promo release day on that Friday at 6 p.m. And that does make a big difference. It does keep you more engaged on that menu content. And I've packed the pack look. It has generally gone up as well. I think we need to acknowledge this as well, because getting promo players from stuff like Road to the Final was nonsense. I think what was the other promos around Team of the Year, like the Fire and Ice, weren't dropping at all. I've packed just about every player that's not top tier. It's a caveat. Most of the players I'm packing are 40, 50k, but I have hit just about every FUT Fantasy player. I've hit Porro probably about 10 times now, which is just bonkers. It pops up in every other player pick. So yeah, that is a positive. I do like to think that they recognise they're giving back, but as EA giveth, EA taketh, and I've got to say they have dropped the ball on Evos hard, Shaq. I was looking just before we came on air at the amount of active Evos, and if you take out the FUT Academy promos, I think you've got like 4, maybe 5. If you're not a FUT founder, you've got 4 to be getting on with. And I said to you, I've been toying with the idea of, I'll start a Reading to Glory account. Good luck if I try that, because I can't. If you're new to the game, Evos have just been dropped, and I just don't know whether that is they're petrified of this in progress glitch where people are getting 99 rated cards, or if there is just a thinking of, we can't let people raise the power curve. I don't know what it is, but they were making money off this, Shaq, so there is something a little bit fishy going on.
Absolutely. I think the penny didn't drop in my head until you actually mentioned the fact that you can't really start a Reading to Glory, and that's such a simple way for EA to actually provide something to the customer base that really wants to do it and want to get on. And if you started Reading to Glory, surely you wouldn't mind spending a few FC points here and there just to upgrade a few cards here and there, just to make that perfect balanced team that you really want to make and just enjoy yourself. The Reading to Glory team would be perfect for you in the friendlies mode, for example, and the joy and excitement that it will bring. And eventually, if you're good enough with that team, you can break it to the champs or even rivals. So the template's really there, but I don't understand how they've messed it up this badly, especially for people who want to create random team Evos. I haven't really been a huge Evo fan this year, but hey, it was ideal for Road to Glory. I must say, even while playing friendlies today, I came across a guy who had just a gold team, a stock standard gold team, and he just had one Evo card in there. So he's obviously started a new RTG, and the only one Evo card he had was Nunes. because I was thinking, why doesn't this guy make some more Evo cards? And when you said that, penny just dropped, and thinking there is no way for anyone to have any other Evo card apart from the few founder cards. That's it.
Yeah, as I said, the only ones available right now, you've got Fancy FC assisting winger, you've got the generous
Hero.
goal scorer, and down the right side. And only one of those is paid. The other one is the base hero catch-up, which applies to only a very small group of players. And again, it is hero-based, and that's 125,000 coins or 750 FIFA points. I don't understand why they're leaving this money on the table. There must be something that they're really concerned about, because just release the ones you released earlier in the season. Release Relentless Winger again. Release the Golden Glow Up. Why is there not a Golden Glow Up being released every month? Like, what? Surely there will be players that pop up over the year that are a bronze card, and you go, wow, I would love to level that player up. Oh, the Golden Glow Up has been re-released. I'll go and play that. It's
The question. Sorry, go on.
No, I just don't get it.
The question I have is, why do they have to expire? There's no reason for these cards, for the evolution to expire. Like, I don't understand. It's a bronze card. Who cares if you do 50 bronzes or 100 bronzes? They can come up to maybe an 89 rated at the most, or maybe a 90 rated at the most. Who cares? I don't understand why they even expire. Why is there an expiry date on them? Just keep them open like a catalog of Evos that you can get to at any point of the game cycle. It just makes sense.
Yeah, and as I said, they make money. Evos have made me spend my first FC points in 3 years because I want to Evo my Reading players, and they're not giving me a chance to do that. And I can absolutely understand they don't want people suddenly abusing the system and running around with a squad full of 99 players before team of the season. Absolutely get that. But they've discovered the way to make it even harder with this not in progress evolution glitch, which is hopefully, I have seen there are various workarounds, but most people are not going to be going that deep into the woods. So, like, just re-release them, but with that not in progress evolution rarity tag, and just let people do them again. Again, it's for a company that is so obsessed with making money. I don't understand why they're not cashing in, but there may be something else going on that we don't know about. Again, this company doesn't talk to us. They don't tell us what they're doing, so how would we ever know?
Exactly.
And Adam, who's listening in live, says maybe they are scared that there'll be more Evo loopholes to end up with 99 rated Evos. And yeah, that is the only thing I can think of. But again, I just can't. I can't see too many people going down that route.
The only loopholes were in progress evolutions, and if you convert your evolution to red pick and then try dumping that red pick evolution into an upgrade. But that's the only two loopholes. So you block the red pick evolution, you block the Evo evolution. That's it. You're done. I can't see where the issue is apart from those two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just silly. But look, that concludes the debate portion of today's show. Just a couple of things before we go. Firstly, in the mailbag. Now, of course, you can leave comments for the show on Spotify, and Jake Robinson is one who did so. Ingvi, of course, talking last show about how he no longer uses Team of the Year Messi because it doesn't fit his style. And actually, I can sympathise with Ingvi on this one because I play a bit more like Ingvi, but not to the point where I would drop Messi. Even though I'm not I like Ingvi, I'm not really a skiller. I am more into crossing and stuff like that, but I can't not have Team of the Year Messi in my team in March. I'm sorry. I just can't. And he said he was lucky to get him from the pick. I use him. I don't know how you can't. And I think, Jake, you're in the majority here. But look, I've already roasted Ingvi once. So look, and I actually think it is important that you don't feel forced to use any player. Too many of us are slaves to the meta of this game. And I think if you do find a player that you like, or you find a player that you don't like, no matter how good they are, go with what makes you happy. Go with what makes you happy.
No, I completely agree. I'm just giving India a hard time because I don't have a Messi, and I would really want a Messi, and there's always grass is green on the other side. But Messi is an acquired taste, and he would have whatever his price is. He's always an acquired taste, and he will just never fit exactly someone's play style. Even though he's got 5-star skill moves, it's still completely understandable, but still doesn't stop me from giving Envy a hard time.
Absolutely. So look, thank you for the question, Jake. And again, you can submit your questions in there onto the shows when they are posted on Spotify. Again, lots of other ways to get in contact with us as well. futinreview@gmail.com. All of our socials are at FUT Coaching. as well. So lots of ways to get in touch. And of course, through the Discord access, absolutely free. Again, remember the link to join the Discord will be posted along with the show notes of every episode. But Shaq, quick player and review. Anybody in the last, since you have returned, that you've been enjoying?
I think there's two cards I've really enjoyed using. One is it's not really a fancy card. It's the centre back Bisek from Inter rather, and he's just phenomenal. I'm using him in the friendlies. He's humongous. He's got the right play styles. He's just a huge unit that just blocks every single defender. I really. The funny thing was, I started looking for an evolution for him because I know there was an evolution somewhere along the way that you could upgrade him, but that's not there anymore. So I'm stuck. I really want to upgrade this guy, but I can't. I would love to use him because he's the one card that really has been exciting me, and I really want to upgrade him, but I can't. He's really fun to use. And the other striker that Invi's mentioned, that was his tip that I used was Kundin Jani. The striker, the card from the female Atletico team, she's just phenomenal. She is so much fun. It's just weird. She just seems like this. She can do everything. And in the friendly mode, it's just built for her. So I'm really enjoying these two cards.
Yeah, they're really good. The other one I wanted to bring up, I don't like bringing up cards that you can't really get anymore, but I did want to say I did the Magassa evolution. If you remember, he was an objective player. From Monaco that was released during Future Stars, an 86 raid. I put him into the 88 upgrade. He is such a nice DM because of that passing, because of that Bruiser Plus play style. So if you did go through that evolution, GG's to you. I've not really been mixing up too much beyond that. I've not actually been playing the friendlies mode since I completed it. Again, I've been playing more Helldivers and actually having to do parenting and stuff like that. So my game time's been limited. But I have used Miedema, the Arsenal striker, for the last few games of my weekend league run. Thought she was a really good striker. It's such a shame that she's injured because I think if this card got to 94 rated, be elite. But even just as a 90, really good finishing, really good presence. So I've been enjoying using that card. But yeah, otherwise, Shaq, for me, it's been much the same old. I love to be using new cards. The only card that did surprise me, just very, very quickly, got Puskás from one of the icon picks a couple of weeks ago. Did use him. It's just a 3-star weak foot. He's so nice. And if he had a 5-star weak foot, he'd be leading my line instead of Eusebio easily. But the weak foot is just, when you miss that chance, it eats at you. And I just can't deal with that. And the one other card I wanted to point out was Alex Scott as a right back.
Oh, yeah.
Very decent right back. She's looking good to get at least one upgrade, if not two. But again, I think, for me, I still prefer Cancelo's team of the group stage, probably just because of that whip pass plus.
That's right. I think I've been tossing up between Alex Scott and Cafu, and I've just stuck to Cafu. I mean, mind you, I haven't really gone back to Rivals and Champs, but I've tossed it up in my head and I've just stuck to Cafu. And just going back to Magassa, and I must admit, I have used the base card, the Future Stars card in the friendly mode. He was incredible. And I just noticed that he's got an Evo that has pink pass along with Bruiser.
That's what I've got. That's the player I'm talking about.
Lucky man. That's a really good. You're lucky man.
That is the one.
They should just keep these Evos going all the time. What the hell? What? Nah, this is wrong.
Yeah,
could it be to create FOMO? Could it be to create the FOMO?
Well, if you're not in every day, not doing everything, you miss out. Yeah, quite possibly. So much is built around FOMO. I mean, I remember when I first started playing in FIFA 20, the SBCs just sat there for months. Even FUT birthday ones. I remember you could do FUT birthday cards right through the end of the game cycle.
True.
So you've obviously, trying to create something along those lines. But look, what we're doing is going to create tracks because we are going to head off into the sunset. So much to get into. New promo on the way on Friday, Shaq. Have we got any inkling as to what it's going to be yet?
Oh, well, there's something to do with someone's birthday. I don't really know whose, but yeah, we'll wait and watch. Yeah, it is a bit too. It is a fortnight too early, in my opinion. At least a week too early. But hey, it's an interesting time of the market. Just want to point out as well, if we get the campaign, the old as it's been released by EA, if you get the old campaign cards like the Fire and Ice and those sorts of cards, and we have that for a week, I think we'll see some really good market action. We'll see all these cards that for example, I've been looking to buy a Neymar card who's just 5 million plus. Those kind of cards will come back into reach. And I think it's a really fun time where all the card prices will come down in anticipation for FUT Birthday that eventually comes out. So if we get no promo this week and just a re-release of cards, I think we'll see a good market correction, which is probably good for all of us. We can finally test out some new cards that we have been aspiring to. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to some price action just to reduce these prices so we can actually buy and feel free to buy these cards.
Yeah, and look, my closing messages to EA, don't make this game too exciting in the next few weeks, because I've just started my latest fitness campaign, finally got back on the Peloton, because I haven't got that FOMO feeling at the moment. So I'm a bit more like, okay, I'll get on. So yeah, if you can make this game not super exciting for the next few weeks, that would be great for my waistline. But on that note, Shaq, we are going to wrap things up. Where can people follow you on social media?
ShaqAttack6285 on Twitter and ShaqAttack on the Discord. Just reach out.
Yeah, and I am Wimby and Wimby86. I tend to use Wimby more now, to be honest, since I've stopped streaming. But yeah, follow me on either one of those. Of course, FUT coaching for all of your needs. If you want to get better at this game and you're panicking about being able to afford cards, don't. The guys at FUT Coaching are fantastic. As mentioned in the ad break as well, if you book coaching right now, it's going towards a fantastic cause in Macmillan. So again, an extra reason to try and sharpen up your skills on this game. Of course, Discord access is free. Please back us on Patreon if you can. The Creep meetup is on the way as well. I can't be there, neither can Shaq, but we're looking forward to the stories that come out of that one. And lots of exciting things to get into. So wherever stage you're at with this game, thank you for being with us. Thank you for showing your support and love. And we will be back with you over the weekend. Apologies for the slight delay in this show. Again, we're only human. We have other commitments to get to. But look, hopefully it's been worth the wait. Until then, Shaq, only one thing left to do.
Drop it.
We are going to drop it.
Drop it.
F-U-T. F-U-T. F-F-F-U-T. F-U-T. T. T. In a view. F-U-T.